Sir, my mom isn't waking up. The little girl's trembling voice sliced through the CEO's morning meeting like a scream no one else heard. Her tiny hands clutched the corner of the conference table, eyes red, breath shaking. And in that moment, despite the room full of executives, despite the billions at stake, the CEO felt his world tilt. Because he recognized those eyes. He had seen them once before, on the woman he never thought he'd face again, and what he found when he followed the girl to her mother's apartment would change his life forever. Michael Grant, the 45-year-old CEO of Grant Industries, was known for two things: impossible discipline and an even more impossible heart. A man who built his entire empire from nothing, yet locked every emotion behind a wall built even higher. But that morning, something was different. As he prepared for the presentation, HR Director Linda rushed in with a child by her side, a small girl with messy hair, oversized clothes, and eyes that shouldn't have known fear. "Mr. Grant, she insisted on seeing you," Linda whispered, before Michael could react. The girl stepped forward. "Sir," she whispered, voice cracking, "my mom isn't waking up. Please, you work with her, please help." For one moment, time froze, because he recognized her mother's name on the visitor form Linda held out: Elena Hart, Maintenance Department. His chest tightened. Elena, the woman he had hired 5 years ago, the woman he once shared a quiet, painful history with, the woman who walked away before he ever had the courage to stop her. "What's your name?" he asked gently. "Amy," she sniffed. "Amy Hart." Hart, the surname he remembered too well. Michael didn't think. He didn't ask. He simply stood, grabbed his coat, and said the words that shocked every executive in the room: "Cancel the meeting. I'm taking her to her mother." They rushed out of the towering glass building and into the cold morning air. Amy clutched his sleeve like a lifeline, leading him through narrow streets to an old apartment complex he didn't know existed in the city he ruled. Financially, when they reached the door, Amy's hands shook so hard she couldn't even get the key, and Michael knelt. "It's okay. I'm here." The door opened to a small, dimly lit room, too cold, too quiet. On a thin mattress lay Elena, still unmoving, her face pale, lips dry, breaths barely visible. Michael felt the punch of memory hit him, the laughter they once shared, the night she told him she wasn't good enough for a man rising toward the world's elite, the night she disappeared. "Amy," he whispered, "how long has she been like this?" "Since last night. She came home late, she fainted. I tried to wake her, but she said she was okay. She told me not to worry." The girl's voice broke. "I'm scared. She's all I have." Something inside Michael cracked open, a place he had sealed away long ago. He called emergency services. He wrapped his coat around Amy. He lifted Elena in his arms like she weighed nothing, but the truth was, she weighed everything. At the hospital, the doctors moved fast. Michael paced the hallway like a man who'd lost control of everything he once believed he mastered. The CEO who negotiated billion-dollar deals with an iron spine couldn't even steady his hands when the doctor finally emerged. Amy ran to him. "Is my mom okay? Please tell me she's okay." The doctor knelt to her level. "She's very sick, sweetheart. Severe exhaustion, untreated anemia, dehydration, and she hasn't been eating properly. She's been pushing her body far beyond its limits." Michael felt his jaw clench. "Why didn't anyone at my company notice?" The doctor sighed. "She's been working night shifts, double shifts. She may have been hiding her condition." Amy looked at Michael with tear-filled confusion. "She works for you? You know my mom?" He knelt beside her. "Yes. I knew her before you were born." Her eyes widened. Then why didn't you help her?" It was a child's question, simple, honest, sharp as a blade, and Michael had no answer that didn't shame him. He sat beside Elena's bed while she slept, pale but alive. Amy curled up against his side, exhausted. Hours passed before Elena stirred. When her eyes opened and found Michael sitting there, she froze. "Michael." Her voice was barely a whisper. He leaned forward, emotions he'd buried rising like a storm. "Elena, what happened to you? Why didn't you tell me? Why did you disappear all those years ago?" Tears pooled in her weak eyes. "I left because you were rising higher, faster, and I didn't want to be the one to hold you down. Amy was a baby, life was hard, and I didn't want you to feel responsible." Michael swallowed hard. "Elena, not once did you hold me down. You were the only person who ever made my life feel real." She turned away, ashamed. "I didn't want your pity." "It was never pity," he whispered. "It was love." The room went silent. Amy looked between them, confusion slowly melting into hope. Elena closed her eyes, tears sliding down her cheeks. "I'm tired, Michael. I've been fighting alone for so long." He reached for her hand, something he hadn't allowed himself to do in years. "You're not alone anymore. I promise you. I'm not walking away again." For the first time in years, Elena let someone else carry the weight. For the first time, Amy saw her mother smile, weak but real. In the weeks that followed, Michael paid for Elena's treatment, arranged support, moved them into a safe home, and brought her back to work, this time in a role that respected her talent instead of draining her spirit, and slowly, painfully, beautifully, They rebuilt what life had once broken. By the end, Amy looked up at Michael with shining eyes and asked the question that sealed their future, "Can I call you Dad?" Michael's heart, once locked behind walls of steel, finally opened. "Yes," he whispered, and Elena, tears falling softly, rested her head on his shoulder. The message: "No success is greater than the people we care for. No empire is worth more than the lives we can save, and sometimes, the family we lose, comes back when we choose to fight for them."